Hello world and welcome to World's End Tarot. Today I'm doing a spirit check-in with you guys. I just want to see what messages we need to be aware of right now. We're going to be taking these cards, which is the Sacred Destiny Oracle deck from Denise Lynn, and I'm going to choose which card is going to be corresponding to each of these three crystals, which are your choices today, if you are someone who prefers to choose by crystals. So I want you to go with your mind and calmly choose the combination of either the card and the crystal, or maybe just the card or just the crystal that feels most like it's speaking to you at this time, because that is where your messages are going to be. So let's just take a moment and calmly ask the deck for the card which corresponds to group 1. There we go. And then again for group 2, that one there. And then again for group 3, please. Okay, so put those aside and let's look a little closer at your choices today. So for group 1, we have here the rose quartz, which is a beautiful pink round specimen, kind of like an egg. And the corresponding card for this stone is here. New beginnings. Okay. For pile number 2, we have the tiny little amethyst. And the corresponding card for this crystal is the action card here. And then for pile 3, we have I always mispronounce this one, I think it's pronounced Rhodonite? I'm so sorry. I'm always really jealous about people who know how to pronounce these types of stones. I will leave the spelling in the description box so you can pronounce it yourself. I just struggle with this one, but I love this stone. So this is your choice for pile 3. And the corresponding card with this crystal is the transformation card. Okay, so there are your choices for your reading today. Take your time, breathe in, breathe out, pause this video, and then choose which card or crystal is speaking most to you, and I'll see you in your reading. Okay, hi pile 1. So you chose this crystal and this card combination, New Beginnings, which is a really beautiful card, I must say. I absolutely love the way that the sunset is breaking into night sky and pooling all over the landscape within this picture. I just think it's beautiful. It speaks in so many ways to this idea of it's a new day, it's a new dawn. You've got all this time ahead of you to do something different, or to make new choices, or to start a new adventure. So I just love everything that's coming through with this energy that you've chosen right now. I have a couple of oracle cards to choose from. And then of course we're going to go into the reading in a deeper way. I have a couple sets of tarot to read. So let's just start. Okay. Wow. That just came out so quick, so there you go. There's also this one coming. And let's just take another one, because I feel like there's something else in here for you. There we go. There's two actually, so there you go. That makes sense. And then we're going to go in again with a couple more oracle cards. Thank you. Ooh. And then just one more. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm going to turn all these oracle cards over, and then we're going to go into asking the tarot for more information. Just as well, if you've never been to my channel before, I just need you to know that I am an intuitive reader, so I never know what's going to happen in any reading I do. So sometimes it's a little jarbled when I'm talking about the messages. You just have to bear with me, and you are going to know your life better than I will know your life. So some of this is going to be you helping yourself to interpret the cards that I'm coming up with. So let's do this together. Let's find out what we have coming through here for you, pile one. We have cleaning house. Let's just go a little deeper so you guys can see the imagery. Cleaning house. We have goblins. Interesting. We also have unexpected visitors. I love this card. I haven't seen this come up before, and I really like the artwork in there. Kind of reminding me of Alice in Wonderland, actually, this figure here. Then last of all, we have magic stream coming up there for you. And then for our other deck, we have why. So curious. And lastly, we have come to the edge. Okay, pile one. I really want to take a swig of my tea, so if you can bear with me a minute as I have a little swig. Oh, that feels so much better. If you can hear seagulls and stuff in the background, I apologize. That's just, I'm not in the city at the moment. I am by the sea, so we have seabirds here. It's funny, right? One of the first things I thought when I was turning over these messages was that you have it's like there's a spirit of mischief coming through these cards. It's not you, it's something else. This is why the goblins is coming up, but it's also showing up in unexpected visitors, cleaning house. There's actually some sort of practicality level to this. It makes sense why this is coming up with new beginnings, because I do feel, pile one, that you are in a place where you're cleaning up shop. the cleaning up house reference here is about getting your stuff in order so that you are ready to get on with the next chapter. So there's a lot of echoing of this similar message all the way going all the way through your cards. There's even this, and also the theme of cleansing yourself so that you are rejuvenated is coming through as well. And yeah, the mischief is something I find really interesting. It's almost as if it's like Spirit giving you a little bit of a warning. It's almost as if some of you, this is really specific, if you're doing house renovations right now, there's going to be a lot of snagging problems up ahead. Spirit's just trying to tell you about that. It's almost as if they're saying, temper your expectations. Don't let that stuff get to you. Specifically, like possibly you might have some problem with vermin. Just little bits like that. It's not as if, it's funny because it's almost as if it's not that serious. It's like a heads up that just to watch out for things like critters in the roof or coming through the floorboards. So if that's something which resonates, then that's that message. But more specifically, there's also just this sort of mischievous energy. It's almost as if it's like a Mercury retrograde energy of things not quite going to plan, and there being like a cosmic joke going on around you that you're not necessarily privy to. And there's just this idea that you may have, that you're like all these snags in the road, all of these like hurdles that you're trying to jump over are really holding you back from starting anew, and Spirit is actually disagreeing with you. The Spirit here is saying this is actually indication that you're well on your way. So even though you're sitting there thinking, oh, I just wish I could just get this one thing done with this, it just went wrong and I'm back at square one, this is not the right attitude to have. This is actually proof that you're getting out and about, and so you're coming up against more obstacles than ordinarily you would be. So it's like a message of encouragement, but it's also a warning that things are gonna be a little choppy for a while here. Just a lot of unexpected incidences going on around your life, particularly in your personal life. The unexpected visitors is genuinely, this card here is actually the combination between this and the goblins. For me, it's very much going on about like this is in a literal sense, so we're talking people turning up uninvited or unannounced. Yes, along with some of the vermin issues, yes, but separately to that, just genuinely just like there are some, I don't want to labor this point too heavily because it's not as serious as this will sound, but there are some people slightly out to get you, just a little bit, so please be aware of any scams or, scams, honestly, or just generally just making sure that you lock your doors at night and you just make sure everything's in order, which is part of the reason why cleaning house is so important. This is actually a very practical reading for part of this. It really is talking about getting your house in order so that you're more in control of your own domain, because if not, people will take advantage of you, or energies will take advantage of you, or mice or something similar will be taking advantage of, lax living situations. This is about taking control and starting afresh. It would not surprise me if quite a few of you are thinking about moving or have moved recently, or you're, like I said before, redecorating or renovating your home. These are all the kinds of themes that this is encompassing. And obviously I can't speak for all of us at the same time. This reading is a collective reading. So you're going to have to do your own homework about how this actually relates to your own circumstances. I trust you to do it though, pile one, you'll be okay. But yeah, no, these are the messages that are coming up in the start of the reading. Magic Stream. Now this is a reminder from Spirit to take care of yourself. I feel like you're going to be feeling quite overwhelmed at times, and there really needs to be some if you're someone who really is quite a slave to a schedule, particularly somebody else's schedule, you really need to carve out some time for yourself to relax, because otherwise you're not going to feel like you're getting rejuvenation, which is ironic because I feel like quite a lot of you, the new beginning aspect of this for you, partly this is because you've been feeling pretty overwhelmed, really not feeling very much in control, and this seems like a very new step towards gaining this part of the world as your own very own domain. And Magic Stream here is talking about taking that time to actually really reinvest in yourself and not just in your surroundings. This is talking about not getting burnt out, focusing on the material of the everyday and really rejuvenating your own spirit, because otherwise you're going to find out that you're going to be getting quite burnt out. And if anything, when you're burnt out, you're more likely to experience some of these more negative type qualities that are coming in with the mischievous energy I was picking up on at the start of our reading. So this is just a kind of a rebalancing here coming through from Spirit. There's also a reminder about the emotional side of some of this stuff. I do really feel like if you're feeling overwhelmed, it's extremely important that you take some time away from other people. And this is actually quite literal, but if baths are something that help you, or if getting to a steam spa is something that is accessible for you, I would suggest doing that. You really do need to do something that really takes yourself like back into your body, and preferably is including some kind of contact with water. This could even be wild swimming, something like that, or paddling at the beach. There's something going on here about sort of maintaining your safe space while getting back into your body via the tool of water. It's just very relaxing, and there's lots of ways that can manifest in your life, but something about that energy right now is really going to help rejuvenate you so that you're able to do the more practical stuff going around with these other messages here. This is actually really like a spread of someone who's taking a lot more control in their life, and I really like to see that, pile one. I really feel like this has been a long time coming for you, and that if anything, the bumps in the road that I'm seeing coming up for you are actually going to make this experience all the more richer. It just feels like you are on top, and Spirit is giving you an encouraging cheer. You're someone who deserves this, you deserve this particular indulgence. There's just something so restorative going on in your cards, and there's a real humor coming from Spirit about things that might not seem like they're going right. Sometimes they're going to really feel like they actually worked out for the best. So please don't take things quite so seriously, and allow yourself to be going with the flow a little bit more. This is what Magic Stream's also talking about. Just having a bit more of a flexibility and adaptability, partly because you are definitely looking after yourself. Please look after yourself. The reason I'm saying that is because this question up here, this is a new deck for me, so I'm just going to dip in quickly and just double check if my first impression of these cards was correct. Just to see, do we agree? Yeah, fine. What else? Yeah. Okay. So amongst the practicalities, the movement towards getting what you want, particularly for those of you that are concerned about making your home a safe, happy, clean, vibrant place, which I feel like everybody wants, so I feel like that speaks to everything that I particularly enjoy about my own home, and I feel like all of us, if we're in a position to, should have in fact, I think all of us probably have at least one piece of the world where we can put our head down to sleep, that we should feel that we're in control of. We're really speaking to that nature of restorative energies, and part of your restoration is claiming space as your own. Sorry, that's a tangent. I feel like this is coming up for you right now, and there is some emotional baggage that you have, and this is coming through with these two cards here a little bit here. This is supportive of these two cards here, this come to the edge card. This is almost as if I'm so sorry, I'm not being quite as articulate as I would prefer to be right now. This is one side of the inner dialogue that you're having about taking that first step towards what you want. It's a courageous step. It feels both natural and explorative and creative, and at the same time really scary. There's some kind of echoing through here of this card of the Fool's, the Fool card in tarot. We have a figure that's stepping off of the cliff and like into the unknown. This is kind of echoing here. So it really is echoing the new beginnings and then this idea of like taking control. And it's coming from a place of courage. It's coming from a place of exploration with yourself. And yes, creativity. She's dancing off into the distance. She's dancing over the edge in this card. And there's a lot of... It's a good thing. Like, don't get me... There's nothing risky inherently about this decision. It just is feeling quite emotionally quite vulnerable. Because you don't know what you're going to land in, you know? This step is taking you to a place that's going to be different, and to choose to make that step does take a certain amount of courage within ourselves to accept that one part of our journey is now over so that the new part can actually begin. And there's going to be a little bit of like confliction going on there, just like accepting that a certain time period is now over and that it's time for something new. It's time to do something different. And that can feel quite challenging if you're someone who is a creature of habit, like so many of us are. And actually, interestingly enough, the why question here, you're going to be having a lot of self-reflection that isn't necessarily needed, but it is also understandable. I think when we're going through a lot of change, it can really sort of catch us off guard, and we can kind of see ourselves differently or wonder if we were ever... It's difficult. I can't quite verbalize this particular feeling. It's just, there's just a lot of questions, inner questioning going on for you about like why you need a new beginning and how you got here in the first place. And I feel that there's a lot of why did this happen, or like how did this happen, or like have I learned anything from this? Or like, am I learning anything from it now even? Or like, there is a temptation here, pile one, for you to go into this kind of like not very helpful mental place where you kind of spiral. And this is coming through in this area. I would ask you not to go there. I don't really think it's particularly productive, but there's definitely some of us in pile one here. Some of us have this temptation that we have to like really dwell on stuff that isn't really anything to do with us or isn't really in our control, and feel like we have more control over our lives than we really do sometimes. And there is a tendency to try and beat yourself up a little bit, or to look too intently at the past as if it's telling you something about the future, which it can't really. You only have the moment that you have right now, and you have the choices that you have to make right now. Those are the things that you're living. You can't change the past. And you can only accept the present that you're dealing with at this point. So I would really be careful about being too intellectual about where you're at right now, and trying to get yourself out of your own head. I do really think that Magic Stream particularly is coming up about that, just to remind yourself not to stay in your own head and to get yourself and your body invigorated again. That's going to be the best, healthiest way for you to remain on track for your goals and to really actually start anew. I hope that makes sense. I feel like that got really... It's funny, sometimes when I get messages, they feel super complicated and they're really difficult to articulate, and other times they can be so overwhelmingly strong and specific. It's just such a strange thing. So I'm going to ask Tarot here to just elaborate on some of the messages that we were getting with our oracles. Yep. Okay. Well, that makes sense. These two came together. Pick another one, please. Pile one. Pardon me. Oh my gosh. Okay. Right, there we go. Wow. Oh, I love it. Okay. So, Yeah, so these two came together. I think that's quite interesting. So we do have some acknowledgement of home again coming up in here. Pardon me while I take some tea. Home's coming up here again. The reason I'm saying that is because I'm seeing an anchor here, and an anchor for me is talking about remaining like in the one place, and that's talking about home. There's just this word about home. Where do I stay? Who am I? Because the thing is about an anchor is that is something that keeps a ship still, and a ship is obviously moving quite a lot around before it would floor an anchor, if that's the right term. So there is this idea of somebody moving around and choosing to stay in one place, and that is coming up here. So if that's something that's resonating, that's what we are talking about. There's definitely the reiteration of somebody who lives too much in their own head and who worries a lot and who is purposefully ignoring other ways that they could spend their mental energy. And particularly in terms of practical progress, you worry about yourself not progressing as quickly or in the right manner that you feel that you should be, or maybe possibly that your peers also are progressing. That is why these two cards were coming up together. This Knight of Pentacles is a reminder from Spirit to just take one step at a time continually. Just take one step at a time in a practical sense towards your goal. But I do feel like you're somebody who you sit there and compare yourself to your peers too much, and it puts you into this mental place where it's an aspect of why that we were getting up here. It's a little bit more pronounced. Like, this is confirming what I was suspecting this card was saying before, that yeah, you're someone who actually worries too much, and Spirit's asking you not to do that. It's really just not a productive way to spend your time, pile one. It's just really not productive. It's not doing anything for you. It's also not it's not a practical thing, because Spirit here is saying, no, like, you're practical enough. Like, you're doing the practical things that I need you to do to get to where you want to be. Please, can we not do this thing where you beat yourself up and you go, what if I had done this instead? Or like, oh, why am I in this place? Like, there's something about it just being an indulgent habit that just doesn't really make sense for you anymore to continue doing it. And then at the end of our tarot, although we're going into another one, don't worry, pile one, we still have another deck to go. But the end of this reading here with the Sun, I just find this very, very encouraging. There's just like a warm, joyful hug coming your way from the universe. She, the goddess, the spirit, whatever words you use to describe this entity or this being, or I don't know if it's a being, just the universe, the spirit. The message from her coming up right now is just such joy and love, and totally like she's rallying you on. It's just a reminder for you yourself to take those moments of joy when you get them and like just enjoy them. Please don't overanalyze them. It's silly, it's boring. You need a little more fun in terms of how you're interacting with the world on that basis. This is a perfect place for this to be coming up because it's so close to Magic Stream, and I'm really seeing that like this is almost like the key. Stop worrying. Make sure you're getting out into your body. You know, take those long showers, those baths, swim in the sea, go to the spa and sit in the steam. These are the kinds, like, be with water, be around water as much as you can, drink water. There's something about this helping you to just like remain on top and remain positive, and I just think that's something that we need to reiterate right now. Oh my goodness. Just me and my tea over here. So let's find out a little bit. Oh yeah, I wanted to I wanted to take a few advice cards from Moonology for you, pile one, and then I'm going to take some tarot cards. Pile one, coming up here. Oh, that's nice. What a nice place for that to come up. Okay. Oh, and there's another one there straight away. So funny. So, yeah. So you have your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn coming up here on the first half of the reading with new beginnings, cleaning house, why, come to the edge. Just and again, just like a beautiful card of encouragement for you, just practically getting your hands into your own destiny, into your own space around you, just taking those steps towards maintaining the control, the safety, the protection of the place that you live. And I really do see it as a practical thing here. Pile 1, it really is about, if you're not someone who owns a property or rents a property and you just are someone who has their own room or something, or even just someone if you just have your own space within a room with someone else, this is about that, okay? It could be on the bigger scale or the smaller scale. It's all about the material environment that you're in right now and making sure that it's clean and working for you, pile 1. And I also had nothing will come of this situation, void of course, moon coming up. It fell just here with the 8 of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. That's just a reminder to stop the worrying. I know it's easier said than done, but Spirit's just like, no, just stop it. Nothing's gonna come of that stuff. Regardless of the practicalities of the situation at hand or the reality or whatever, this is meant in the sense of your worrying doesn't do anything to change anything. Please stop worrying. Either do something about it or don't do something about it. But sitting, beating yourself up about stuff that is not in your control is just a waste of your time. Let's go into the last messages for, that is crazy because all 3 of those came out at the same time. So what do we have? Temperance, 3 of Swords, and the World card. I'm going to take a couple more. 2 more, please. I feel like for pile 1. Just like last messages for pile 1, please. Oh my, thank you. Right, there we go. These 2 cards just fell on out. We have Queen of Cups, we have King of Wands. So, okay. Okay. So, pile 1, this hadn't come up before now, but there may be very difficult circumstances as to why you're having a new beginning, and Spirit is just acknowledging that right now. We're talking heartbreak, we're talking like a breakup, we're talking death and grieving, we're talking moving cities for reasons that aren't to do with necessarily like the best choices or whatever, or harder choices than ordinary choices that you need to make. Like, I feel like I'm not speaking proper sentences, I'm so sorry. Yeah, this makes sense as to why we were getting Magic Stream before, because I'm getting Temperance again, and this is basically that it's like a reiteration of water being something that's particularly healing for you, pile 1, right now. It's just coming through again. There's something about water balancing the mess going on in your head. There's something about water helping to redress an imbalance. There's something about water helping you to meditate. And I am seeing that some of you are particularly grief-stricken at this moment in time. I just want to say, hello, we're with you, and I hear you. Spirit is hearing that, and it is gently guiding you to a place where you can heal, because these are cards of healing, and they're also such encouraging cards of motivation. They're such motivating cards, partly because we have the King of Wands and the Queen of Cups coming together, and together they're presenting a very balanced person, and I'm reading that as somebody singularly. I read it as you, pile 1. What I'm seeing in you are these immense, this balance. So there's something about redressing a balance, and this is what Spirit's trying to help you with, particularly in cleaning up the house and being aware of like things coming into your life that might not be quite to plan, but are also an opportunity to see joy. That there's also just this emphasis on making sure that you're healing yourself and taking time for yourself to balance out your emotional state. And I do see it as an emotional state. But yeah, with the King of Wands and the Queen of Cups coming through on each side of these things, this balance is again just reiterated. And the Queen of Cups is talking about someone who's like in a position of being able to give, to hold space for other people. So if you are in a moment of grief, I will say that there's something about your presence where other people are able to express their own grief with you, and that you are providing people with a space. I don't know if that is within your own personality or within your own family or within your own friends and you're collectively grieving, or even possibly if you work in a field where people who are needing support are put in your care slightly. But basically I'm seeing that those aspects of you, your creativity, your intuition, your emotional capacity to hear other people is one of your greatest strengths, and it comes from a place of empathy, but it's not a place where there's any boundaries being crossed. You're very safe with that. And so this is something that Spirit's reminding you about through me, that's something that you should be proud of and to remain aware of that right now. Also, King of Wands, like you have an incredible motivation and yes, again, a creativity. You are somebody who's very wise, you're very accomplished. So these two aspects of yourself are coming together right now. There's just something about remembering that that's who you are. Those are things that you're capable of. And Spirit's just reminding you about that right now. Because I think that there's something about healing right now and you needing to be giving yourself space to heal. And on top of this, there's even again with the Sun and the World here coming through, this is again just such a massive indication that you're on the right track, that Spirit is excited for your success, that you are going to be completing the goal that you're only just beginning right now. And Spirit sees that for you and is excited for you and is happy for you and is wanting to remind you that your hard work is paying off. So do not beat yourself up. Okay, pile one, that was your reading. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I've really enjoyed having you here. If you want to see more readings of mine, please consider subscribing and I'll speak to you soon. Bye, pile one. Hello, pile two. This is your reading. You chose the Amethyst and the Action card. So let's get into your reading and find out what is going on for you. I have a lot of oracle cards to read for you, and then I have a couple of tarot decks to read for you, and we're just going to see what comes up, what messages are coming up for Spirit for you right now. Oh, okay. Interesting. And we've got a couple jumpers. Fine. As well. And then one more. Okay. Pile two, please. Pile two, please. There's one more for pile two, please. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Pile two. Oh, what a disaster. Right. Pile two, please. Thank you. Oh, wow. Exactly the same position as pile one. There's going to be some messages in pile one for you, pile two. So I would suggest that if you had felt like you weren't sure between choosing pile one or pile two, that there's messages in both of the readings for you. The reason I'm saying that is because one of your cards have come up in exactly the same position as the last reading. So there's going to be something going on there for you as well, okay? In the meantime, let's have a look at your cards, because I just want to say, pile two, I can feel that there's confusion, and I can feel that there's a vulnerability coming through in your cards, and I need to acknowledge that. It's not it's going to be okay. And there's definitely some can you hear the seagulls? I mean, they're so loud. There's definitely some things that are being echoed more than once across your cards, and so That's interesting. One of the things that's coming up for me right now is there's this issue about time. There's also an issue about education. And there is some emotional heartbreak happening through here, with a feeling of feeling stuck and not really knowing what to do, which I think might be why you were attracted to this action card in the first place, because actually the irony is that you're feeling very still, very stuck. So time is running out, you feel. I feel also that we're coming at a place where you have been feeling quite stagnant for quite a while, pile 2. Ghostlands is speaking of that. Just this frozen in and stuck, stagnant, just unable to quite maneuver yourself out and see beyond yourself, because there's also a lot of inner reflection going on here to the point of it not being healthy. Now, arguably with coming apart, there's something, arguably, you may have had a breakup, but I'm not really seeing that so much here. Actually, what I'm seeing, pile 2, is that there's some mental health issue coming up here. Now, I am a tarot reader on YouTube. I am not a medical or mental health professional. So if you are resonating with feeling like you're not feeling very well in your own head, please seek out professional help. That is the best thing that you can do, okay? You're not going to find the answer in a tarot video on YouTube. But I am totally here to read the messages that are coming up for you. But I just want to make that clear. I'm not a medical professional. We are all completely responsible for our own health, and that's not what tarot is for, okay? So if that's something that's resonating with you, let's talk about that, because what I'm seeing here is a lot of inner turmoil, there's definitely a theme of feeling like it's too late. It's too late. I can't do that anymore. Or I'm running out of time. There's something about the clock is ticking. I missed the boat. It's too late. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wallow in that. And I'm going to be upset about that. I'm going to grieve that. And that might be completely necessary, because sometimes in order for us to move on, we do need to actually grieve what we've lost. And that can be healthy. But what I'm seeing here a little bit is that that's not the case for you, pile 2. I can see that it has become slightly indulgent. And now I think we're maybe at a point where we're ready for that not to be the case anymore, because I am seeing a new pathway coming down the road for us here. Pile 2, I do feel like you are starting to wonder about either a change of career, or possibly changing, if you're at college, it's changing majors, or it's going to college again as a mature student. It's learning something so that you can apply it to try and solve this issue of having felt stagnant. It's almost as if you got to a certain place and then it's like you can't quite get past that. I wonder if we're talking to somebody. I'm sorry, that thing's happened where there's so much going on that I can't verbalize it. I can feel for some of us, for pile 2, some of us are older and feel like we're closer to retirement age than not, and so it would be too risky to change course. But we're thinking about it anyway, or possibly changing careers so late, having a career pivot. It's very frightening, but these are the kind of themes that are coming up here, because it's going to be preferable than sitting around and feeling like we are going to beat ourselves up about something that hasn't gone our way. And I do really feel like that's some of it here. That we're making a choice not to hate on ourselves, and we're choosing to get up and try something different. And I see a lot of you are going to feel the key to our survival, the key to us feeling like we're ready to step into a different aspect of our lives, is going to be education. It's just such a strong card coming up here, and it's the first card we see that's really about hope and really about choice and really about getting out of our own head. Because coming apart, ironically, I can see it's an 8 of Swords energy, which we had in the first reading, so I would actually recommend you go there as well. But I see this is hope here coming through. This is movement. This is someone who's not victimizing themselves with their own thoughts anymore. This is someone who's choosing action over inaction. Someone who's taking control of their own lives. And the reason that there's something going on in your own head, pile 2, is this why question just keeps coming up. Why are things the way they are? Why couldn't they have been different? Why am I in this situation? Why is it that I feel the need to do this? Why is it that that person said this to me? There's something just not there's something not quite productive about it. This continually to reach for the reasons behind the way something is. I would say that that's not action. That's a type of mental obsession or a mental rumination, and it's not helping you to get to the place that you are more than capable of being, pile 2, a place where you're really feeling true happiness that's completely just within your own body, within your own self. And spirit is wanting you to get out of your own head, because it's almost as if you're in your own way. So I want to go into the tarot and actually start asking for more here. Please. Oh my gosh. Pile 2, you're like, it's like you're really, there's all this like really sad, deep, dark stuff going on here, and at the same time there's a wicked sense of humor. Just want to say that that's something coming up here. Right, pile 2, I need something for pile 2, please. Thank you. Let's go. Pile 2, please. I need something for pile 2. Can you explain more? Thank you. Oh man, okay, yeah. Pile 2, you've got messages in pile 1. Okay, thank you. I feel like that was more this way. Justice. Yeah. This one, please. Oh, 2 at the same time. You're very chatty, pile 2. We have a few. So let's talk. Let's see if I can maneuver all of these cards around. They're kind of messy right now, aren't they? Okay. I am seeing work being a theme here for why there's some discontent. I'm seeing contractually things just not really feeling very... It's almost as if things used to feel good when you were younger, and now they just don't feel like you anymore. That's something about it. There's like an identity sort of wrapped up in your work, and that's being questioned right now, and that's why there's such a lot of mental confusion, and there's this feeling of not getting anywhere. And I can see that Spirit, so I mean this in the best way possible, pile 2, Spirit's sort of laughing at you slightly. And I mean that it's coming from a place where Spirit is like a parent who loves you so much and knows you're going to be okay, but they can't quite help but laugh as you're failing and struggling, because they know that deep down, like they are waiting for you to pick yourself up and dust yourself up and keep going. It's like they're proud of you. That's how I'm feeling when I'm looking at these cards, and I know that that's an expression of the attitude that Spirit's got. There's a testing going on here of going, go on, you can do it. I know you're better than this, and so do you. And there's something a little bit about going, you need to not feel so sorry for yourself, because you're more than capable of like changing pace and doing something different. It is just so interesting, actually, like seeing these cards. Are you uncomfortable feeling happy, pile 2? I can't help but wonder if you are. You're also, I can see you come up as someone who's quite serious. You take yourself very seriously. Yeah. And hard work is coming up here. This is about making a good life for yourself. It will require a lot of hard work, but it's going to pay off. I've gone quiet because it's just so interesting, like the difference between the first part of this reading and the last part of the reading, I hope you understand what I mean by like spirits laughing at you a bit. Like there's such faith that you're going to be okay here because you have all the tools. It's almost as if you're used to feeling sorry for yourself and you put yourself into this place where like you beat yourself up for really little reason, and it's just like Spirit's like, why do you do that? It's such a bad habit. Like, stop. I am seeing dissatisfaction with an old life. Like, I feel like you may be someone who's quite a high flyer, like relatively in your field, and that's something you've really fought for, and it's just not something that feels like it's part of your identity anymore, and it's feeling quite confusing for you. It's just something that you're ready to move on from. And Spirit sees that and agrees, to be honest. It's funny, it's almost as if there's two sides of this thing. Not only is Spirit, as an older person who loves you, laughing at you as you kind of like struggle and like dust yourself off and get back up on the horse again, but that's also an aspect of your older self looking back at a younger version of yourself. You are somebody who could be that parental figure to yourself. There's something about self-soothing going on in here as well. It's like you sort of, when you get into these moods where you feel like you're not getting anywhere, you have this real bad tendency of really like going off on the deep end and feeling like you're really fatalistic, actually. Like when you fail, it's like you're always gonna fail. You're never gonna succeed. And it's just obviously not true. So I think that's why there's a comedian aspect to some of these attitudes from Spirit where they're going, you're so dramatic. You're such a drama queen. Like, you're gonna be fine. And you know how to do this. And like, why are you beating yourself up? Like, you're a fully grown adult. You know how to do this. Like, there's no reason for you to like stomp around like a teenager. And like, there's just something going on there. And I really do feel like pile 2, like this is a career reading waiting to happen. And I think that for the other, if you are subscribing, just for these general readings, absolutely, that's fine. I obviously am going to always do general readings for the collective, but I am going to start branching out and do more career-based readings because it's something that I find really interesting, and I feel like this is someone who would benefit from a career reading, because there's so much in here about career and work and feeling stagnant, and that being something that's so part of your identity that I wish that I could be doing a career reading for you particularly. So subscribe, and in the next few weeks I'll be having career readings up here because I feel the need. Because there's also just this, you're going to be okay. Like, I'm seeing such a lot of hard work happening towards the next goal, towards this pivot of some description. And I'm seeing you with money. I'm seeing you getting over this hump and feeling a lot more secure within where your place is in the world. I want to go into advice as well right now and just see what we're getting for pile 2, please. Let's see what we're getting up here. Can I get something for pile 2, please? Flopped down. Fine. You're getting 3. Okay, yeah, sure. So here we go. Full moon in Taurus, prosperity, new moon in Taurus, I should say. Prosperity lies ahead. There we go. Oh my gosh. I'm really struggling with the camera angles right now. There you go. So there we go, yeah, prosperity lies ahead. Thank you. And here we go again. Can we see this? Luck is on your side, pile 2. You're gonna be okay. Lovely. And then we have New Moon in Virgo. That's so ridiculous. That's ridiculous. By the way, all of these cards are completely shuffled beforehand, so that's like completely crazy that 3 new moons from Taurus, Sagittarius, and Virgo have just come up here. A time to give rather than take. You have more to give than you are probably giving at this point in time, pile 2. You may have become quite self-indulgent and a bit selfish, actually, a bit too self-involved. It's not nice to be around that level, because I'm getting kind of like a teenagey, flouncy, like moody kind of aspect to where you're at right now in your head, and it's just not working for you. Spirit's kind of laughing at you because it's like, oh, come on, grow up. There's something going on there about that kind of energy. So if that's resonating with you, I think it's time for you to get out of your own head, to start like looking around you at the other people who are in your life and who can benefit from your amazing qualities, which, to be honest with you, I don't think you're really utilizing at this point in time as much as you could be. So these are, I mean, this is really interesting, all these new moons. Do you have placements in Sagittarius, Virgo, and Taurus? It wouldn't surprise me if you did. And again, there's at least 2 cards here that are talking about it's going to be okay. Prosperity lies ahead. The future is foolproof here for you working hard towards a financial return. Yes, that's in the cards. Luck is on your side. Yes, this time of like stagnation is ending. Action is required, but you are more than capable of doing this for yourself. Please do not dwell on stuff that's going on around you in your head in the past. You are choosing to be miserable when you could be choosing to be happy quite a lot of the time, and that is indulgent and makes you look silly, and Spirit's laughing at you slightly about it because it's just a bit immature. Although they do agree with you that, you know, something has to change. So let's just have a little look lastly at the tarot cards for pile 2, because I want to see what is going on. Oh, thank you. I love these cards so much. They just speak so much to me, and I love when they jump out at me. It just feels so nice. It's like they're chatting to me. Pile 2, please. Pile 2, please. Messages for pile 2 we haven't. Just, okay, thank you, oh my gosh. That's so crazy, I love it. I feel like 2 more cards as well. You're really busy, pile 2. It's like really strange because like this is a shorter reading than the first pile, but it does feel like you've got, oh my gosh, you've just got like such a lot of like busy energy coming up here. There's another moon. Pile 2, please. I need some more messages for pile 2, please. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Wow. So we have another moon. So we are talking about this indulgent shadow self side of you. We have death coming up here, which is new beginnings, which makes sense because this is definitely a shift of energy that is completely on the cards for you in the first place. This is shifting out of a stagnation, actually coming up back into more things, active things coming in. The Lovers, which is really interesting because it's the only kind of love card I've had come up here. It's interesting because I'm not seeing that as a relationship aspect for you, pile 2. I'm seeing that as like you loving yourself properly. I don't think you've been doing that, pile 2. I think you've been beating yourself up for no good reason. Yeah, just not seeing that as a relationship card right now. Yep. Yeah, these are amazing cards for everything that we've just been discussing. Page of Swords, there's just this idea of you cutting through the crap, getting to the root of it, really engaging again with your ambition, really engaging again with your intellect. But like from a place of experimentation slightly. The page is not the knight, it's also not the king or the queen. Like the page is like a sort of apprentice kind of vibe. There's something about you learning new skills coming through here. Something about you engaging with that more youthful side of energy. You're an apprentice to the intellectual journey with the Page of Sword. Very charming personality as well, the Page of Swords. And I feel as well, funnily enough, like, I feel like they're not the same suit, but I do feel that the figures, she sort of graduates into this Queen of Wands at the center here, and I do feel that this is what their journey is actually, is actually, you're at the beginning of this journey, but this is where you're getting to. On your way, you are choosing, I mean, the Magician's, this is echoing so many things, pile 2. The Magician is echoing the first card that you chose, action. It's a card of action, it's a card of manifestation. It's a card of someone who takes their own life into their own hands and like does what they do. Here we again have a High Pentacles talking about the results of your hard work, talking about education, talking about practical things that get you to the place that you want to be, which is the Queen of Wands here. Creative, leadership, focusing. There's like a leading actress type of energy here. You're somebody really in control and in mindfulness of yourself. It's somebody who really is just top of their game. And in particularly a feminine energy kind of way. So if most of you that are watching are actually female, this is also speaking particularly to those people right now. Of course, we all have different aspects to ourselves, male and female qualities that we all encompass, but this is a more feminine energy coming through here, and I do have to talk about that. But yeah, ultimately these are extremely comforting cards to get, considering where we began this reading, where you're feeling stagnant, where you're feeling miserable, where you're looking inward to yourself, where you're looking to the past and you're asking yourself, why am I here? This is Spirit. This is why Spirit was laughing a little bit at you, because the fact is you're gonna be fine, because you have everything you need to get to where you want to go. You just have to be a bit braver. You have to be more active, pile 2, to get where you want to go. You have to do that hard work. You have to educate yourself as well to get those new things, and you have to say goodbye to stuff that doesn't work for you and learn to love yourself. So pile 2, that was your general reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more of my stuff, please consider subscribing. I am going to be uploading continually, and I really love having you here. It's so thrilling to have people comment and watch my videos. It makes me feel so happy that these readings are reaching who they need to reach to. So I just want to say thank you to you if you're someone who's subscribed and commented already. I really appreciate that, and I'm really happy that you're here. So I will see you later, pile 2. Bye. Oh, pile 3, welcome to your reading. This is what you chose. The stone that I cannot pronounce and the transformation card. Is it Rhodonite? I give up. It's just so... I have aspirations to be able to pronounce every single stone, but nevertheless. So, we're going to be looking at oracle cards, and then we're going to be looking at tarot cards, and we're just going to be asking Spirit what you need to know right now. So pile 3, what messages does pile 3 need to know at this time? Okay, thank you. Thank you. One more, please. I just think maybe 2 more. Thank you. Wow. Wow, okay. Pile 2, you do have messages in, no, pile 3, you have messages in pile 2 as well, just because of the placement of these cards. It's really spooky. Well, it's not spooky, I wouldn't use that word, I like that word. It's not, it's nice, it's really serendipitous, but I am getting various different messages that are being repeated in all 3 of the readings today. I love that bone collector card. I don't necessarily understand exactly what it's getting at, so I'm just going to have a look at the book for this one. I love this energy of her though, like I just love that. It's just such a cool energy. Okay. Oh. Okay. I love that. Right, we're gonna go and just get a couple more from my, oh my gosh. You're a very chatty bunch today. Let me see, pile 3 please. Pile 3 please. Yeah. That's not for you. Pile 3 please. Pile 3, please. That one. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think it's pile 2. My memory is terrible because it's all in the moment. Yeah, oh my gosh, okay, fine, we're definitely doing that then. That came up twice. It was for you, I suppose. We picked this one up and I didn't think it was for you. I put it back in the deck, it came up again, so it's obviously for you, very loud and clear. Also, I think you have messages in the first reading as well as the second reading. Sorry, pile 3. If you felt like you weren't sure which one to pick, that'll probably be why. If not, there's just things going on today. I think this collective reading may actually be all 3 readings combined, depending on how you felt attracted to. It may be that some of the readings are just for you, and maybe that the whole thing is actually for all of us, because it's quite interesting how some of these particular, like, to me, pile 3, you have messages from pile 2 and pile 1, so there's that. So let's talk about you, pile 3. If you're just here and you only know that you need to be here for pile 3, we're going to do that, so don't worry. Okay, let me take a swig. So many similar messages though, it's so crazy. Okay, so pile 3, I just want you to relax. I need you to relax a little bit. If you're feeling in any way anxious and conducting yourself within the shadow self of your intuition, within your personal makeup, it's not necessarily very useful to spend your time doing that. Reason being, Spirit is here talking with such love and care for you. The Bone Collector here is like everybody's grandma. She loves us and she wants us to look after ourselves. She's here to remind us that we are fine just the way we are. We need to prioritize ourselves and we are on the right path. She's got our back, and to behave as if, even if you feel that you're without, to behave as if you feel that you are with, because that is going to keep continuing that energy within your life so that you are eventually in a place where you are with, not without. It's almost as if it's not fake it till you make it. It's much more spiritual than that. It's something to do with not focusing on what you don't have, not focusing on what's wrong. It's focusing on the fact that you have enough and that you are enough. I'm also seeing this kind of message about going with the flow, just being reiterated here with riding the wave. There's an acknowledgement that right now things feel quite choppy, quite new, quite fresh, quite active, and there's just this reminder from Spirit that, like, you've got this, you're gonna be okay. There's an admiration for you coming through here. Spirit's really impressed with your listening skills, the fact that you're willing to listen to things that are unusual. That open mind that you have is really refreshing. Spirit's really proud of you for that stuff. It's part of the reason why you're so intellectual. The education card coming up here. In the last reading this came up and I saw this as more of an advice, and here I'm seeing it as it's almost as if Spirit's paying you lots of compliments. Spirit really loves how interested you are in learning. Spirit really loves how interested you are in learning and listening to other people, to listening to new opinions, to exposing yourself to ideas you've never heard of or haven't ever considered. This is something, the reason why there's a transformation occurring within you is partly because you're growing all the time. Spirit loves that about you. Just the fact that you're always so hungry for new information and that you have this pride that you have in knowing and learning and not knowing and learning. You just have this immense hunger for new information. Spirit loves that about you. It's really interesting, actually. I don't know why this is such a... It's so interesting because some of the other messages that we had today, it was like, what mess? Because I'm asking, like, what messages do you have? And there's nothing. It's like a softness is coming out in your reading pile 3. It's such a generous, happy encouragement coming from Spirit. And I think that the only little clue I have here in your cards that something may feel a little bit uncomfortable sometimes is the Moonlight card, where you have this tendency to go inward on yourself. But there's no interest in that in Spirit. Spirit's like, they see that, they like that. There's a soulfulness to you. But it's like Spirit just is taking this opportunity to remind you of all the amazing aspects that you possess, that they love about you. The only little bit of encouragement about it's this one here, Ride the Wave. This is a little bit of advice about there are waves incoming, and that's a part of life, and you just have to keep going with the flow about that. Pardon the pun. And then again, like with your other cards here, pile 3, we have Blessed coming out. This is about the self-possession, knowing that the Spirit, that the universe is on your side, that you are indeed blessed, that things are working out in the way that they should be working out, in the way that they should be working out, in the timing that they should be working out at. You're meeting the people when you should be meeting them. You're learning the lessons when you should be learning them. You're listening to the lessons that you need to listen to now. You're riding that wave because that's the wave you're supposed to be riding. All the while, Spirit has an eye on you as if a kind grandparent. There's something so comforting about this. I feel like this is almost Spirit embodied in this person just being on your side and finding such joy in watching you grow and watching you become the person that you are. You are blessed, pile 3. This is such a beautiful set of cards. And I'm sorry that there isn't anything more specific coming out here, but it is the way that it is. There have been many readings, and if you're subscribed to me, you know that I have very, very lucid moments of very specific messages that come up in these readings. But this one right now, with us in pile 3, it's more nuanced than that, and I love that actually. I feel really excited about this. I feel happy for you. There's such joy coming up here from Spirit. I do think they're just so proud of you. They love the fact that you have this this attitude to educating yourself and to learning and listening new things. They just love that about you. It's one of these things that sometimes is quite rare, the ability to really just engage as a newbie, as somebody who's like in class learning about life. Like you are someone who you never take for granted that you know more than other people. You're really willing to have your mind changed. You're really willing to understand that about yourselves. There's 2 very interesting cards here coming up. It's almost like they're speaking to each other the way that they're almost like mirroring each other the way that they are. So these are our 2 cards we're going to talk about right now, because these are like, out of all of the other cards, this is almost the more practical edge of this reading. A change in the wind, cleaning it up. So there is a little bit here, a gentle message. It's not completely, like it's not the most important thing ever, but this is a more practical message of actually like cleaning up. Now I saw this a similar card to this coming up in a previous reading in I think it's pile 1. It might be, I think it's pile 1. And that was very practical in this reading. This one is less so, but there might be some messages in pile 1 for you. This is less so. This is actually about cleaning up your mind. It's something about cleaning up the mind that gets into this place where you're a bit self-critical. It just is so murky and strange, and it's so like not a part of you. Like it is obviously, but it's not. This aspect here is you. These 3 cards here. This is you, pile 3, and this Moonlight card. This is something that happens when you're not happy or you're feeling tired. It's like a bad habit that you do in private. There's a little bit of a nudge to clean up your act here. Clean it up. Clean up your act. Stop doing that. It's indulgent. It doesn't help you. You are someone who listens to new information. You learn things. You're someone who educates yourself. You're someone who takes that time. That's something like, I'm hearing from Spirit actually this act of educating yourself is an act of self-love for you. This is something that they really love about you. It's something that when you are investing in yourself and in your education, in intellectual pursuits, you're giving yourself a clear message that you're worth that investment. Yeah. So there's just a little bit of a, can you stop indulging in your shadow self, please? It's not actually, it might feel authentic, but it's not. It's just something that's more familiar than the other parts of yourself. It's not like this is more valid than this, you know? I hope that comes across. They're both valid. You often feel like your inner darker thoughts are more true than the better, happier thoughts that you also have. This is why this clean it up card's coming up here. Just don't do that. If anything, I mean, it's almost as if, okay, here's some actual, this just came. It's like journal those nasty thoughts and then burn them. Journal the thoughts that are like on your mind, rip them up, put it in the bin. That's something coming up there. A change in the wind as well. This is so interesting, and I don't know what this is about right now. So I'm going to be asking the tarot about this because this is something that's unclear for me. I do have some thoughts on it. Actually, yes. Yes, okay. Ride the wave and change in the wind are speaking to me now. It's possible that there's going to be some stormy weather. I don't mean that in a literal sense, I mean that in a metaphorical sense, like in terms of like spiritually, like a time of a bit more of a chaotic time coming up, and there's just a little bit of warning about that from spirit, that this actually makes sense for the clean it up, to be honest now. So yeah, no, that makes sense. Things are just going to get a little bit more confusing. There's not going to be as much time for you to sit and indulge yourself in this way, and it's not helpful because there's going to be such a change going on. There's a lot of movement. It's almost like a chaotic storm, and possibly it's just like this clean it up message is like you need to get yourself in order so that you're ready for if you have to batten down the hatches and like really like push through, that you're not going to have any of these like sort of frivolous distractions that are like indulgent mental health weaknesses that you have. Like you have this habit of like criticizing yourself too much or wishing that you could undo the past, for example, and this is just not going to be helpful when things start changing really quickly. And this transformation, I do feel like the transformation hasn't happened yet. It will happen, but it's not happened yet. It's something that's on its way. It's going to be happening, and you need to be prepared. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, pile 3, did not expect it to go that way. So let's get some more tarot readings. Okay, tarot card, this is coming up. Thank you. Oh, but yeah, by the way, I don't tend to do reversed cards. Sometimes I feel like they are definitely wanting to be read reversed. Most of the time I don't, so. Oh, pile 3. Transformation indeed. How interesting. How interesting. You have a lot of wealth coming in. Interesting. You have a lot of wealth coming in, pile 3. It's not coming now. I don't think this is something that... Can you hear my dog walking past? It's something that's coming in. It's not something that's necessarily here already. And it feels like it's a long-term thing. I wonder if some of you are actually about to come into some inheritance, which I know is a bit unusual. It does feel like there's some sort of legacy going on here. I don't know if like another family member is going to be supporting you through your education. If you're actually, I'm sorry for the background noise, it's just my dog rearranging themselves in their basket. There's some kind of inheritance going on here. And you leaving and going quite far. God, how interesting. Pile 3, there's a few things that this is about, and I can see like certain types of situations where these cards make a lot of sense. So I'm going to just explain one of them. So just now I saw someone comes into money because they're being sent to university and it's all being paid for by an elderly, richer relative or parent or someone. So you're leaving your family home and it feels strange and a bit weird, but it's a very fast experience, and then at the end of your journey it puts you in a place where you're really feeling on top of the world because it's such a good fit. That's one version of these cards, because what I'm seeing is I am seeing like stability in a moneyed sense coming up twice with 10 of Pentacles and King of Pentacles. I do feel like this actually isn't, I don't feel like this is you, but I feel like this could be you. It's a version of you. It's partly because you work really fast and you are someone who sees opportunities and just goes for it when it's there, but it does require you to like leave something behind. I don't see you necessarily being... That's so interesting that it's here as well with Ride the Wave. I'm hesitant to say this because it's not going to apply for most of us, but for some of us this is about leaving a relationship behind as well. This might be why there's a transformation card and a reminder that you're going to be okay, because it's almost as if you've been doing things, and this is a bit more broad and this makes more sense. It's like you've been doing things a certain way for a really long time that worked for you and that was great, but that's changing and you need to ride the wave as you change up your story. And it also makes sense now why Bone Collector came up for us, because all these changes can make you feel very strange, and it really is just such an iteration of like going with the flow. Yeah, it's like you have to tie up loose ends before your next part of the journey, and the next part of the journey is when the transformation happens. This for the most obvious, loudest voice that's talking about this is that you're moving away from home and that you're doing something brand new, and I'm seeing it being education. So I'm seeing a lot of people leaving to go study for university. I'm seeing them leave behind old family friends. I'm seeing the change just being huge. I'm seeing like a little bit of grief about leaving things behind and feeling quite lonely, but also just generally there's some sort of like older energy coming in and looking after you, but at the same time everything happens really quite quickly, but ultimately it's really good for you. It's the right type of change, which I think is what the transformation is about. This is a good type of transformation. Obviously there's other types of things that happen than just moving to go to university, and the reason it's just that seems to be the strongest voice going on right now. That it could also be a different job, to be honest with you, but basically what it is, the most important part of this thing is whatever the reasons behind this move that I'm seeing and this expansion of your intellect, there's going to be just a very, very suddenly, a very quick pace change and the Chariot, just both of them just pushing. There's going to be, God, it could even be getting a commission for a really big project and it taking you away from home for a while. That could work for freelancers as well. But it ultimately, it really pays off. There's money coming in, pile 3. It looks really good for you for money. It's a long-term process. I mean, I'm not seeing this be something that suddenly happens. For some of us, it's like a 6 month. For some of us, it's a 6 years. There's just something about a larger project being part of your journey. And I'm seeing this reminder from Spirit, a reminder about maintaining these ideals that you have right now. Somebody who's open, honest, is able to listen, is able to educate themselves, is open-minded, and is calm with the things that are good about themselves. Not always expecting everything to be perfect all the time, but being grateful for how things are, that being enough. Let's see quickly your advice cards coming through. Moonology, please, for pile 3. Another one, please. Wow. Beautiful. Believe in the impossible. And the other, Do not let pride get in your way. Believe in the impossible right now, because it is possible this is going to happen. Whatever this dream is, whatever this transformation that you're hoping is going to happen, pile 3, it is going to happen. It is possible. So believe it. But at the end of this, there is a very large piece of advice here about not letting pride get in your way. Whatever that means for you, but I do wonder if success goes to your head. So just be aware of that. It's not attractive. Spirit is asking you not to let that happen. Possibly as well, like not being too prideful to take help when it's offered. Don't get, take help. Take help. Don't let yourself be so prideful. Don't be too proud of yourself when you do well, because it will be limiting to your ability to see everything as it is. Oh gosh, my cards are being so messy. I have them coming up there, Page of Pentacles. Yep, makes sense. I'm seeing that as a student. Got the Empress coming through, yep. Oh gosh, she just, Ace of Wands. Wow, okay. Oh gosh, okay. Just one more like, wow. Oh, okay. One last card, please, for pile 3. Thank you. Oh, there's 2, so that's lovely. 2 came out at the same time. Thank you. 10 of Pentacles, again, right, so there is family inheritance going on here. Knight of Pentacles as well. This is you making investments towards your future, towards your King of Pentacles. This is you making practical steps towards your goal. I really am seeing a lot of students in this reading right now, younger students too, although it's completely possible this is other types of students and not necessarily in formal education, but for a lot of us this is formal education as students, okay? That's just what I'm seeing. Because I'm seeing Page of Pentacles as you, as the student. This is talking about talent, it's talking about skills, it's talking about making money, being somebody who is really practical about their efforts towards their goal. Then we have the Empress coming up, and I feel this is somebody learning how to be in their own authenticity, in their own power, particularly if you're female. I'm seeing somebody who is approaching themselves with love and care and wanting to be someone who really takes their inspiration from the earth in a spiritual sense, someone who's really at peace with themselves, somebody who's really present in their own lives. And Ace of Wands is telling me that you are about to be starting new careers, about to be starting a new beginning, even possibly traveling away. You are just here. This is reiterated in the Chariot card as well as the Wave card. We have just this feeling of movement going on with Ace of Wands and beginnings and creative beginnings as well. The start of the journey. So it would make sense that this is what we're getting reiterated to us with our. This is such a message of encouragement. If you're at the beginning of a journey that's sort of taking you away from a place of familiarity and into a place of academia or into a place of new job or a new journey, there's some sort of adventurous spirit going on in these cards, that you're sort of a student of life in this respect. You could obviously, I'm seeing it as literally students, but I am seeing it as students of life. We need to talk about this Ten of Wands card. It's a reminder here that leaving things behind us that are actually very comforting and familiar feel very frightening at times. And there are times when we're going to feel that we are burdened and frightened about taking new paths, but you're going to be okay, pile 3. You're going to be fine. You've got so much energy and love behind you, and spirit is on your side. It's all going to be fine. You've got this. So thank you, pile 3. That's your messages today. If you liked this, I would ask you to subscribe, and I'll see you again here. I love having you here. If you enjoyed this reading, please leave me a comment, and I will see you again soon. Bye, pile 3.